Now, for one, January, early February, we can't jump to any. We know that that's the really hardest month in the NBA based on what players are saying, what coaches are saying. We've seen not only Golden State, OKC was coming off losing 4 in a row. We see what's going on with Cleveland. Boston is struggling a little bit. So right now, like, let's not overreact, but being in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, watching Houston, and then coming home at 10:30, watching OKC, it lets you know, man, the road to the finals in the West is far more difficult. People haven't talked about San Antonio. Kawhi's going to come back this year. So you're looking at, man, potentially those 4 seeds. Man, if you fall out of that, you become the 5th seed, or you get an unfavorable matchup if they fall out of the 1 to the 2, because Houston has 13 losses. They only have a couple more wins in the win column than them. It's going to be a tough playoff. Yes, Jenna, OKC, they can beat them. In a 7-game series, they can beat them.
I think they, unlike Houston, they being OKC, would be big underdogs to beat them. And I think the loss of Andre Roberson is really tough for OKC. He's their best defender, a guy Kevin Durant called the best perimeter defender in the league. But they have a shot. And Russ plays great against this Warrior team. Now, I'm going to lay out for you what is the worst-case scenario for Golden State seeding-wise. And it's now fair to talk about this. We're 55 games into the year. They have the same number of losses as the Rockets, okay? So let's say they end up as the 2 seed. Let's also say San Antonio down the stretch. As we know, Pop likes to rest guys. Kawhi doesn't come back to the very end. Let's say San Antonio right now, they're only 3 games ahead of the 7 seed. What if San Antonio's the 7, OKC's the 3,
wow,
and Houston's the 1? And you're staring at game against the Spurs with Kawhi, or series against the Spurs with Kawhi back, then a series against the Thunder, then a series against the Rockets. That's very different than the paths they've had over the last few years, where they've gotten fortunate matchups, injury luck for the injury luck in their favor and against their opponent. That does exist as a possibility.
Right. And one of the storylines to last night's game was, how do you beat Golden State? Hit the offensive board. Don't let them get out and run their break. We know you got to hit shots, but you can see how big OKC is. Roberson's hurt, but they got a big lineup, and they hurt Golden State on the offensive boards last night. So there's other teams, too, that have that. San Antonio, they end up playing them. San Antonio is huge, would have a huge height advantage. So those 2 themes, as far as hitting offensive glass, would play out very well. Just if they had to play San Antonio in the first round, that would be a nightmare scenario.
Is it possible that they've lost 3 of 4? That we're just being a little bit dramatic, and we've already played them out of the top
I'm not playing. No,
mean,
it's not.
The Cavs have they lose 20, and you're okay, like, I am not the least bit concerned.
Well, hold on. These are 2. We're talking about 2 totally different things. They've lost. It's not that we're playing them out of the 1 seed in the West. It is just now, for the first time all year, not a foregone conclusion that they will be the 1 seed.
I'm going to tell you something that's a tale that they're having problems. They're 19-7 at home, the same record as the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, they have been dominant at home. I'm sure Nick, he'll give us some numbers. The last 2 years, how well they've been at home, all right? They're the same as the Cavs at home.
Yeah, they in the first 2 years of the pre-Kevin Durant era of the Warriors, aside from when LeBron won 2 out of 3 to win the title, in the regular season, they lost 4 home games combined in those first 2 years. The year they won the title and the year they lost in 7. And one other thing about last night, OKC did it without Carmelo Anthony. He got injured early in the game, didn't play. It's just, and by the way, Draymond, I know this will shock everyone. Draymond got thrown out of another game.
13, right?
So Draymond, 13 technicals. Draymond's been ejected 5 times. Durant's been ejected 4 times. No other team in the league's team has been ejected more than 3 times.
All right, back to the NFL. Drama in the coaching ranks. Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels has decided to stay in New England. He was all set to be named the Colts head coach. Why do we think that? Well, the Colts did release a statement saying he had the job, and a press conference was planned, and he already hired assistant head coaches. Also, he bought a Colt. But reportedly, Robert Kraft sweetened his contract, gave him some love, and convinced him to stay. All right, guys, what do you think? What was your reaction to all of this?
Man, I wonder, I wonder a few things. And the number one thing I wonder is, okay, if the coach job was not good enough for a guy who's got a tarnished coaching reputation, what job is good enough? Number 2 question is Andrew Luck. Do I need to be concerned going forward? Are the rumors true that he might need another shoulder surgery? And number three, was there something put out there as a transitional plan from Kraft through Belichick? Because you can't do them without both of them being involved. Now,
when you say transitional plan,
transition from a coaching. Yes,
so
like did they promise him something as far as if I move from this spot that he would be the next guy? So those are the things that I would think about because, I mean, being one of 32 an NFL head coach is a precious job. And for you to turn down a franchise like Indianapolis who have a star in Andrew Luck, to me, it typically, if there's smoke from the woodpile, something in the woodpile's not clean. It's just a matter of fact, did they promise him something, or is Andrew Luck in the combination of things that led to that?
I'm glad you said that there's smoke. Sometimes when there's smoke, there's not fire. But if you see a hook and ladder streaming down the street and people jumping out of the building, there's probably fire somewhere close. When Josh McDaniels not only turns down a job, but accepts it and then goes back on what he did, which now, here's what I know.
Yes.
There are 32 teams in the NFL. 31 of them will not have Josh McDaniels on their head coach list next year, or probably the year after, or the year after that. You cannot scorn a team like this. Screw a team over, a team that wanted to hire Mike Vrabel, decided they got you.
Do you think it's even more penal that he's from New England?
Oh, I don't think it helps.
Based on their reputation.
That doesn't help his own personal reputation of how he acted in Denver. It's hard to tell people you're a changed man when you then go and do this. When, according to Diana Rossini of ESPN, his own coaches who were going with him, he had not called them before this news broke. They were still waiting to hear from him. So, Josh McDaniels has one of the 32 most coveted jobs in the world, and given the fact that the team has Andrew Luck, one of the 12 most coveted jobs in the world at what he does. He turns it down. To me, the only way you do that is if you fully believe I will be the head coach of the New England Patriots one day. Now, Peter King did a great job reporting on this morning, saying Josh McDaniels went to Gillette to clean out his office. Kraft and Belichick got him in a room. When he left that room, he had decided to stay. But Peter King also reported there's nothing in writing saying that Josh McDaniels is the next head coach of the Patriots, but that's the only team he can be the head coach of now. I want to make this clear. Josh McDaniels, if he's going to be a head coach in this league in any time in the next 5 years, it will have to be with New England. So you think he canceled
any potential job from any other owner because of this?
How can you trust him?
No, I'm with you. I mean, it's one of the reasons why Bill's assistants suffer and are not successful because they don't have the cachet of Bill. Now, Bill did the same thing, but he took another job.
He had a job waiting for him.
Immediately.
And it was at the same level. Like, I've never seen this. I've never seen a guy accept a job, they send out a press release, and then...
This is after he was already fired by another team where he was a head coach of. Like, it is so rare to even get a second chance as a head coach. But to be fired,
he was a bad offensive coordinator with another team, too.
Yes.
So let's not forget that part. Like, he got fired from Denver, a lot of stuff on and off the field that he was deficient of. Went somewhere else as a coordinator.
To St. Louis.
And was not good.
And then rebuilt his reputation up completely, and then this happened.
And so I don't think, and this is such a financial hit. If you're accepting a head coaching job in the NFL, it's a minimum of $4 million a year.
Yes.
Like, so you're talking minimum.
You're going to have 4 to 5 years guaranteed. So you're 20, 25, you're getting that.
As a coordinator, highest paid coordinator in the league, $1.5 million, $2 million, maybe they sweetened it up to $2 million. You're talking about leaving $10 to $12 million minimum on the table. I don't think you do that if you don't believe I am the next head coach of the New England Patriots, whenever that may be.
That has to be your dream.
Dream job.
Yeah, it's not no dream of Tom Brady walk away, though.
Coming up, is it time for LeBron to take matters into his own hands? And Amanda trade next on First Things First.
They got Brian Hoyer, man.